In today's
the
video,
delinquency of the minors there. So it's a systemic failure is what I'm trying to say. It's not all on Kai. There's a commentary to be had that essentially capitalism is at fault because a mother has to whore out her son to Kai Cenat so that he can get some money in his capacity as a deputy Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy, a deputy Rigby from the
to talk about change. I don't like people talking about change. I want to know if you have the will to change more than the talkative energy to change. A lot of people do that and they'll start trying to talk about
Kai Cenat is the black Mr. Beast, but that success comes at the cost of
Do you have any advice how I could be hood?
Okay. Why did Prime send me a fried chicken juice? All my life, it smell like fried chicken.
That watermelon fried chicken, boy.
The nigga of color hop onto the stream is straight watermelon and gorillas, nigga.
We don't have to make this about race at all.
We looking at the Kai Cenat on today's Foreign Friday.
It's a foreign man in a foreign land.
So this is a perfect place to dive into the of Kai Cenat.
You see the hood Mr. Beast trend on TikTok?
Yeah.
People keep asking me to do it. Do you have any advice how I could be hood?
Okay. Alright, go get you a Montclair coat, black or red.
Okay.
Cop you some purple jeans. They have to be tight though.
Purple.
No, not the color purple. Purple is the brand.
Let me tell you something. So you have Mr. Beast, arguably the largest creator in the world, asking Kai Cenat, one of the largest black creators in the world, how to be hood. The way I would have been on the phone with the HR department of life, cause there ain't no way a white man from North Carolina, yippee-yay-yippee-I-O, who digital footprint entails selling the for $1, ain't no way that white man asks me, a black man, while live streaming to thousands of people how to be hood, and that ain't a macroaggression. You know, I find it very incredible. You have the largest creator, Mr. Beast, hanging out with XQC and Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross alone has done on stream. Aiden has done so much racism at this point that he is blackballed by many of his friends, including Kai Cenat. Yet Mr. Beast was cloistered in a room with him and XQC, who we'll get to in a second, and nobody noted how wild that is. Mr. Beast went to Kick, where it is known that it's a grooming platform, one synonymous with gambling, all of these different things. You just don't go on Kick unless you cater to a particular audience, right? Even Kai Cenat knew that, and that's why he didn't accept the bag from him. Big up Kai for being principled enough to not accept the bag from Kick. The biggest creator in the world did. The biggest creator in the world associated their brand with gambling and predation towards. Meanwhile, Mr. Beast's primary audience is kids. But here he is, cosplaying as the Onceler twins. This brings me to my point. Kai didn't break in to the industry. When you see Kai Cenat in proximity to the top of new media like Mr. Beast, or at the top of traditional media like being invited to the Met Gala, Kai Cenat had Michael B. Jordan on the trailer for his Mafia 4 and 3. He's the bridge between new media and old media, especially when it comes to black celebrities. But you don't get there by being the confrontational black man. You don't break into that industry with your integrity intact. You are granted permission, and the cost of admission, because minstrelsy is an acceptable form of blackness, shucking and jiving. So the space that Kai occupies in this landscape doesn't have room for politics, or in this way, hanging up on a white man asking you how to be hood, because then you're hanging up on your opportunities itself. And this is where I somewhat empathize with Kai, you know, because the higher you go, the wider you go. And that definitely means he's endured quite a bit of racial aggression. Des almost got Kai Cenat banned after calling Rakai the F slur.
He said that because what? He also, I said I put 30,000 head. Please say no, kidnap me.
His streams embody this hackneyed principle that loud equals entertainment.
And I said, fuck up. Say that in the car. 30,000 on my head. And I'm gonna kill you right now. If you put 30,000 on your head. Talk about nothing.
Okay, fans of Kai have been noting a shift in the tone of Kai's Mafia-thon this time around. And this exemplifies it perfectly. You have Rakai arguing with a bunch of rusty-ass grown men. Rust of which WD-40 cannot cure. Use an aged man. Gravity itself oppressing these man them. If you find yourself arguing with a child who can't even get a leaded beverage as of yet, you need to pack your penis up and carry it somewhere else, because he's a waste man. But if this wasn't bad enough, it gets worse.
You gonna put 30,000 on my head, and I'm gonna kill you right now. You put 30,000 on my head. Talk about nothing, bro. A nigga said that? Nothing. I ain't allowed to put 30,000. He said he's gonna kill me and kidnap me first. Punga said that the whole time. Say that. Punga's? Words about my life. He said that first. On my mother's life. He called over boys. Watch this. Watch this. Hold out. Look, yo, come on, get out.
This is what I call performative social justice. It's giving black squares for BLM on IG. Kai had a problem with Dez's bigoted behavior, not out of principle, nor protection of the minor in fight with the adult on your stream in your dwelling. Kai had a problem with the situation when he was supposed to. And we know that because Kai has no qualms with homophobia. Kai gets canceled for homophobia, courtesy of Drama Alert. Oh God.
What's New Jersey? They got mesh. Yeah. Bro, hey! Bro. Nah. Where am I? It's cold. Yo, Ray.
Here you have Rakai yet again being sat on by Ray. I lay the blame squarely on the parents. That's a good point, D-Mac. Well, that's how he got here. He called Kai and said he needed money for his mom, and that's how he got into the group precisely. When you see a child online in this capacity and you're trying to figure out, well, where's the parents? They behind the camera. They the ones who benefiting from the delinquency of the minors there. So it's a systemic failure is what I'm trying to say. It's not all on Kai. There's a commentary to be had that essentially capitalism is at fault because a mother has to whore out her son to Kai Cenat so that he can get some money in his capacity as a deputy Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy, a deputy Rigby from the regular show with big trash panda Kai. All of this is systemic. These villains are also victims at the same time. You have Rakai being sat on by Ray.
Yo, Ray. Ray, you gotta chill, bro. Doing that. Ray, stop doing that. Stop. No, stop doing that. Come sit right here. Come sit right here. It's no explanation. Come sit right here. Ray. You want a nigga lap down some weirdo? Ray, chill. You wildin'.
Look at the concern, bro. Look at the concern on this man's face, blood. They're far more preoccupied with it looking gay than it being inappropriate. Rakai and Ray are also playing into the implied homosexuality of the situation. The humor is being quote-unquote zesty or being sweet.
Bro, you wildin', gang. You wildin'.
No. That's not even like he was on my line.
Bro, it don't matter. Skin to skin. You got your leg cocked up? Nah, Ray, you might be AO. When do y'all come over here? Ray might be AO. Nah, he might really be. Need some in and out, man. Nah, wait, what? There was this cuddling? Nah, y'all really was cuddling. That's out of pocket.
Yeah, we can look. Yeah, we call AO. That's not AO.
Nah, but you're AO though. What's AO?
Like AO is the gay shit, but we're not even doing gay shit. No, even if someone shit like, okay, in the car sitting on his lap, that's not AO.
What?
All of them are engaging with it. Misogyny is a bonding practice amongst men. To take it a step further, homophobia is also a bonding practice amongst men. If there's no women present for the misogyny to be the adhesive amongst the men, they make a woman, a deputy woman, to be homophobic towards. Misogyny is now not available, so they're gonna instead employ homophobia. At what point are these not just dominance-based behaviors to demonstrate power? It is all about power. Misogyny, homophobia, all of these things are basically to sort people into boxes of who is appropriate to lord over. Now Kai and Tylil and all of them performing masculinity in a way that now they are telling not only the people in the bus, but the people that are watching that we are real men. This is how real men act. You want me to now believe that the same boy being called gay here, he now has a problem with when he himself called him gay himself. This is also further bolstered by the fact that any time when something like this happens around Kai, he knows the script to follow.
Is he the first man you fell in love with, bro?
Is he the first man you fell in love with, nigga? I met him through you.
Come on, bro. This nigga. Oh my God.
He's more so lamenting over the fact that this might mean that he's gonna be banned or something like that. He isn't mad at his audience being exposed to a word that has justified violence against the queer folk then. I believe everybody has a capacity to change, but first there has to be a will to change. And the correction that Kai gave here wasn't provoked by some change of character or some revelation that the words that you say foster an environment that is hostile and inclement for particular demographics. What you also see here is Kai struggling between two sides of himself. The Clover Boys represent what he was and maybe beneath the surface or off camera. But Dez and the rest of them haven't had the PR training or the sensitivity guidelines that Kai would have gotten from his management at Nyko and them. They're all specters of Kai's former self. And they're at war with what Kai is presenting. But first we have to get to one of Kai's biggest brand strategies, which is essentially nostalgia-jacking. Nostalgia-jacking or nostalgia jacking.
I'm Kai.
And I'm Carly.
And you're watching Kai
Carly.
4, 3, 2.
I know iCarly is copyright the hell out of niggas. Hijacking nostalgia. iCarly, you had Total Drama Island. Kai Cenat is able to hijack the nostalgia of an audience that has a relationship with a particular piece of media by evoking that media, thus accessing the feelings associated with that media that the audience has. That is the way in which he's able to gain access to your rose-tinted nostalgia shades without having to do the work to get it. Usage of nostalgia jacking as a tactic isn't an evil thing. You don't have to rewrite the wheel, or in this case, the relationship, by making an original piece of media that you can connect with audiences. You just need to build upon an existing relationship that people already have with a piece of media. Kai isn't the only person to do this. This is the same reason why you have an overabundance of terrible remakes that continue to perform well, because you don't have to do much to sell a Shrek 5 or a Lilo and Stitch live action remake. You don't have to do much to sell a Little Mermaid with Daveed Diggs of clipping doing a bastardization of a Trinidadian accent. You don't have to rewrite the wheel. The relationship is already there, and especially in a time when people are already unhappy with their reality and they want to go back to how things were before. So they associate these pieces of media with the time that they were young and maybe blissfully ignorant about how much the world could suck. Now you could tap into that and feed on that escapist reality that exists in your audience. His whole Mafia-thon has been that. It's been a marathon of essentially bringing celebrities of the past to his stream, hoping that people would click, which brings me to what he essentially does, which is spectacle streaming. Spectacle streaming, just like Mr. Beast, where you spend a lot of money, you get people to marvel at the amount of money that you're spending on it. But unlike Mr. Beast, not necessarily much is being done as it pertains to like really fleshing out these ideas or these formats of which he's bringing on all of these different celebrities that maybe we grew up with. All he's doing is just renting a mansion and bringing people that you may have a tangential relationship with in hopes that there's something to be clipped there that could go viral. It's not only reruns, it's when Uncle Phil and Carl Winslow are in the same room all together. It's spectacle streaming and nostalgia-jacking. That brings us to this right here. The fact that Kai Cenat is a visible black creator at the highest echelon of the new media entertainment, it's a very volatile place to be. If you look at this right here, you have what I could only describe as a nightmare blunt rotation. You got Aiden Ross, XQC. I can't even see this nigga's face. It's so low quality of a camera, and you know cameras are racist. He looked like an unlocked Super Smash Brothers character. He just could catch a stray for no reason. But he shouldn't have been here, to be honest. And to top it all off, you have Andrew Tate. You on a call with all of them, right? You a black man. You Kai Cenat on a call with all of these man them, right? And there's an adage that if you're at a table with 4, then that's a table of 5. Your presence is a message. So if I hop on a call publicly and I see any of these man them faces, I'm hanging up so hard that your children get hear dial tone.
Thing is, my opinions matter less than yours.
Not what I
It's
said.
not what you're saying. So you're saying mine don't matter as much as your opinions. XQC, I hope it's not coming out your mouth right now.
Is you come in with the data that's presented, you use that to make your argument, and you show me that, then your argument is worth as much as anybody else in the room. And
Well, so you're saying stupid. That's what you're saying.
That's what I said, Jess.
Wow! See, honestly, I didn't want to do it, but BLM, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
See?
Him being in proximity to an industry that has categorically been racist, him not having anything to say in regards to a lot of them all laughing at XQC essentially just degrading him in front of an audience. All he could say is BLM. And for the folks in the chat who did not know XQC or didn't know that XQC was racist, trust me, this is not the first time that this man has done this.
Silky's chill like that. Silky's chill. I like Silky. I don't like you guys. I like Silky though.
XQC just told Black Boy Max that he could buy his whole family. Black Boy Max is of course a black man. XQC is a white French Canadian. That's why y'all can't understand him.
Ain't you good at no hoods, nigga? That shit never changes. Get off his dick.
Bro, I always in hood, but I can buy your whole neighborhood and turn that shit into my compound. Talk to me like that.
This man named Felix, like PewDiePie. At this point, I've never seen any nigga named Felix that ain't racist. Saying that you could buy a whole black man's neighborhood and turn it into a compound and then calling him out his name. This is in front of people you ain't see Stable, Rondo down there and Jason the Ween laughing. I couldn't stand for that. At best, I hang up the call. At worst, booking a flight. And this is what he does regularly. Drama alert yet again. This is awful. This is the second time we see in drama alert. But drama alert yet again. Why did XQC cook this guy so hard? I can take my daily check and buy your entire bloodline.
I could take my daily check and buy your entire bloodline.
You saying that you could buy a whole black man's bloodline. Remember that we noted that XQC and Aiden Ross was on a stream, a charity stream, raising money for water in Africa with Mr. Beast, the largest creator in the world right now. Meanwhile, this is the digital footprint. If that doesn't illustrate how irrevocably racist of an industry that Kai Cenat, and mind you, a lot of these niggas on the same agency, Nightco, a lot of them have the same management. Kai Cenat's management was Jimmy's old management. So if you want to be on a team, you got to be a team player. And if you're black, that means you gotta allow a watermelon and monkey joke here and there. And if you think that I'm being hyperbolic by saying that, I am not. Aiden Ross was visibly annoyed after Kai Cenat tried to make the streamer beef about race.
The nigga of color hop onto the stream is straight watermelon and gorillas, nigga. I'll watch.
I just wish he didn't say that though. I really wish he didn't say that as soon as there's somebody with color on your stream. We don't have to make this about race at all.
A lot of the OG YouTube and Twitch community back when it was Justin TV, if you were black and you found any success on that platform, you endured anti-blackness from your haters, from your own fan base, as well as your colleagues. So kudos to Kai in that regard, more appropriately dubbed Kai, for persevering through that, because he probably got the worst from this man right here, who is his friend. He is currently being sued by Megan Thee Stallion. I don't know how much for, but yeah, he got to log off the stream a little bit early because he need to go and get with them papers. Aiden ought not need any introduction at this point. He's been exiled to Kick and been affiliated with some of the largest yamheads on the internet, from Andrew Tate, literally sniffing his ass, like not even metaphorically, literally sniffing his ass. From Andrew Tate to Sneeko, this man has been affiliated with them at one point. He and Kai Cenat came up together during the 2K Live community. And there's a video to be made on how the 2K Live community, being essential to streaming, also is affecting like the negrosity that exists in the black streaming space in general. 2K was the patient zero for like a lot of black streamers. Niggas wasn't playing World of Warcraft and things like that. I don't know what niggas was screaming. Black people came on and they was playing 2K, GTA. That is how you got a community of black streamers. You had Illuminati, you had Flight Reacts. It's interesting to see the type of community that formed around these games. And there is a video to be made about how the type, I mean, I've made a video about racism in the gaming community, right? But there's something different around here, because when you also bring streaming into the mix, the type of community that is surrounded by these particular games, and then those being the people now that are pillars of the community as it pertains to black streaming. That's for another video. But many say that Kai, in part, owes Aiden to a degree for his success. But they fell out. And this is, in part, why.
We don't have to make this about race at all. Like, there's no reason to do that at all.
Yeah, you don't have to make it about race when literally being called a monkey and then spamming watermelon inside his chat. Kai just exposed Aiden's manager, Tav, for backdooring Aiden and being racist.
Yo, Kai, I just want to say, man, congrats on all the brand deals you doing and all that, from Nike to McDonald's. Tav is a white man, by the way. He proceeds to say, from Nike to McDonald's, but bro, keep it real, bro. Nigga, a chicken Big Mac, nigga?
Kai had a McDonald's deal at one point, and the price of getting that McDonald's deal was enduring Aiden's manager on a phone call, calling him nigger and saying that he have a chicken Big Mac meal. Tav he is a manager for a lot of streamers. That really illustrates the environment that Kai is in. I don't have the patience to endure that level of anti-blackness and have that be impact my career, because that means that like how I respond to this anti-blackness can impact my opportunities moving forward. When you look at Kai Cenat and what he's able to do now, and you see the things that he's coming out about, you have to wonder what exactly he's had to deal with. If you are black and visibly online, you will engage with racism, period. And the higher up you go, the more racism you will endure. So Kai Cenat being one of the largest streamers, I empathize with him in that regard, but he's also contributed to that cage that he's confined in with his own. Speaking of which, we have to get into this comment, which is probably one of the more controversial things that he's done, but I don't necessarily see it spoken about enough. One of Kai's controversies is his statement in regards to black Americans. As a Bahamian American, as a Caribbean American, I got a lot of thoughts about this. But first, let me let you all hear what he had to say.
Are not cultured at all. Stop body. I don't want to hear, like, when I'm asking general questions, I'm not asking y'all, stop body. That is black. You're black. You're just black, bro. You're just fully American. You're African American, bro. That's it. How was that? See you in 30? That wasn't an insult. That was strictly you're black. You're not Trinidadian. You're not Jamaican. You're not African. You're not. Word. You're not Ghanaian. You're not Dominican. You're not Puerto Rican. You're not Cuban.
He said that black Americans aren't cultured, that they don't have culture, which, to be unambiguously clear, is some caca. This is a great time to discuss this because if we're going to talk about blackness, then we need to talk about whiteness. And first off, for all the Mukpam colored folks inside there, I regret to inform you, white people are not real. White people are actually Irish, you're German, you're Scandinavian. Whiteness is not a real thing. It is a construct created as a political expedient to decide who gets what, when, where, and how much of it. Whiteness was created to determine who was human and who wasn't. A citizen versus a slave. A predator versus prey. And as much as I hate to admit it, white people, y'all in the chat, y'all too, are victims of your own whiteness. I say all that to say that black people may be the only real race because black wasn't real until it was created to justify our subjugation. In forging that blackness was a forging of a collective consciousness of color. Because around the world, black people can camaraderie over the shared experience of anti-blackness. The culture born out of bloodshed is real. So to say black America doesn't have culture is categorically incorrect. And we're designed to have this ignorance of each other's cultures. Because when that happens, who wins? The best way to look at it is who stands to benefit from this dysfunction. The fact that Kai has been in the States for the majority of his life and he has Caribbean heritage is a whole nother thing. When I came to the States, I at least had the majority of my experience in the Bahamas. So I know what it is to grow up without being preoccupied with whiteness to an extent. We do have our white supremacy. It definitely manifests in different ways. It manifests in colorism. It manifests in the white expat. You have a level of anti-blackness being levied by the black diaspora in general towards one another. You have some subsects of black America that think that the rest of the black diaspora may very well be beneath them because of their proximity to Africanness. And those black Americans might side with being American over being black. But immigrants also come to the United States being fed this dream of the American dream and thinking that if I can make it to the States, I can make it. And I had to be disabused of that, even though I've read the books. I've read your Du Bois. I've read your Frantz Fanon. I've read your Richard Wrights. But it's different when you experience it. And you get to feel a unique level of white supremacy and anti-blackness that is in the United States. It's no oppression Olympics, but it is some different shit. As a long-winded way to say that what Kai is doing here serves another purpose. What Kai is doing here is pandering to a brand that Kai has created that allows him some access to alleviate himself of his blackness to an extent. What he is doing is minimizing his blackness and maximizing maybe his Caribbeanness, his exceptionalism, in order for the white children that could project themselves onto Kai, they could project that onto him because he's no longer black. He's Trini. He's Haitian. Because black is a political term. When you deal with people in the United States and when they look in a very myopic understanding of race, they understand black to be very political. He will always lead with a prayer on his streams and everything like that, which yet again allows him to distance himself from his blackness because we're all one people under God. All of that is by design because it allows him to maximize his ability to be generic, to be able to be a blank slate for white kids inside his audience to project onto him. So he has to look past all of the anti-blackness that is levied to him. He has to minimize his blackness at best, and at worst, he'll parody it. Which brings me to, this in itself was pretty damning, but it also exemplifies quite a bit of what Kai ends up gravitating towards because he just doesn't have much of a content strategy beyond getting niggas together that might be celebrities, celebrity adjacent, or nostalgia.
Could you use up to $750? Find it at BioLife. Up to $750 is waiting for you.
Okay, so you have Filthy here. Yet again, you have Filthy here. These niggas are so loud. I'm a loud guy, but these niggas are so loud. I had to turn these niggas down. And I'm a very chaotic streamer, I like to think. Like, I have like a lot of different sound effects and everything going on at the same time. I would be so overstimulated in this, I would have to resign. But you got Filthy here, who would go on to do brilliant things with his life, like assault people. Shay Frost in here, who too will go on to do crimes against humanity and just a gaggle of niggas' blood. Is that a Stake hat? I didn't even know that he was sponsored by Stake, the gambling company Stake.
Yo, Philly and Chunks, Philly and Chunks.
London inside right now.
London inside.
London inside right now.
So I don't know if y'all could see this, right? But they Lion King these animals' blood. At this point, Kai Cenat is big enough to hire some risk management personnel, an animal handler, to make sure that something like this doesn't happen. But you got a whole murder of niggas galloping, trampling around the place. What did you think was gonna happen to these poor animals? And a lot of people would say that it's Kai's friends that's the problem, not Kai himself. And I have to push back on that. One of the biggest scandals that Kai has been involved with is the NY riots. At one point, Kai had essentially provoked a riot. He was handing out PS5s, exactly, yeah, good point. He was arrested for it. But a lot of people said, how is he responsible for the actions of a bunch of kids, but literally he incited a mob? And not only that, but he knew the gravity of the danger because he even said it on stream.
Yeah, 500 people can fit right there. They said more. NYPD gonna be on dick. NYPD gonna pull up. Oh, well, f it, bro. Chat, we going all out, chat. I'm telling you, bro, this is gonna be a fucking movie.
Nah, that ass though.
14 Union Square Park, right in front of the Whole Foods, bro. You feel me? It's right with niggas.
New Yorker here had class that day, and I think all the trains, buses in that area was screwed, and Union Square was dirty for like 1 to 3 days. Sucked, had personal beef since then. Why is this audio always blown out? Let me tell you, as an audiophile, as someone that tries very hard to make sure that I don't mash up y'all ears, one, and that I give y'all very good audio, it really boggles my mind that they sound like they are recording their audio on Nokia phones. It is a screaming, but even if I scream into this right now, it's not gonna be that bad. Like it's not that bad. It's not, that was a bad scream, but it's not that bad. Him, your rage, all of them, bro, their streams sound so distorted, it sounds like a Death Grip song. He using an old gen Yeti mic. That's like $200. These niggas are millionaires. They could buy a setup that is actually a little bit more easy on the ears, but that's a small thing. It is also a small thing in comparison to what I'm about to show you right now, because this, Kai Cenat speaks on the person who allegedly a girl at his party.
The person that's associated with me. I knew this guy. I'm not defending him once again. I knew this guy for a very long time. We went on multiple trips. You feel what I'm saying? Never was this. He's not that type of person. I'm not saying shit didn't happen. I'm not saying none of that. I'm not defending nobody because, bro, The way she was crying to me on that phone, bro, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. I know how he looked. Scars on the face, dreads. You feel me? That's for the law. If that's for the law to handle, though, that's none of y'all business at all.
And Kai Cenat would end up actually obfuscating quite a bit of the law, trying to get to the bottom of this. People let this slide simply because it wasn't him. Dez also does have allegations. This person who is arguing with a child also has allegations. He is friends with Doodoo Garbage. Yeah, exactly. DDG was going through the ringer for him and Harley's case. And Kai Cenat would launder his image to the tune of thousands of people by literally bringing him on as a professor at Streamer University. Not only that, but he was the first person to announce, to not hold him accountable or to say it's simply just the people that he's in proximity to. You have to begin to wonder how infantilizing it is to think that this man doesn't have agency to not associate with these type of niggas. After seeing Kai Cenat's best friend Dez threaten to end the life of on live stream, these allegations are starting to make sense.
He forced himself on me. Well, yeah, he was violent. Like, he was doing too much. Like, he was really being a thirsty, desperate individual, and I really should have just called the cops there, and the situation would have been totally different, and that's why you don't wait. If you want to report somebody, you make that report right there and then you go to the hospital and you get that check. That's why I really don't want to, like, go into details, because it's, like, really traumatizing. That's why I violate him, and that's why I make awareness to this, because I am still traumatized from the fact that I try to act like it didn't happen. So when it happened to me, I try to act like it didn't happen. So it's just like I try to just forget about it. And then afterwards, he would try to, like, come back into my life. So afterwards, my friend called me one day, like, oh, come to the studio. And then Dez was there, and then he tried to talk to me on the phone, and then I just, like, I started cursing him out, and then I hung up. I was like, bro, I don't.
Predators move in flocks. The comments on her own live are basically saying that she's not telling the truth, which insulates a lot of this behavior. And it all ends up going back to this. All of these people that we know of because of Kai Cenat, all of these communities that are being formed around Kai Cenat, there will be people that will argue that I support black, and that's really not enough. You have to support black, but not black being bad. You can't simply just support black, period. You just replace the people that are enacting the harm with people that are enacting harm that just happen to look like you as well. Which brings you to a very difficult question that, like, a lot of people actually need to reckon with. Like, a lot of them man them too. I would get people inside my comment sections just like, why don't you go after white men like that? First off, I do. But more importantly, I think the better question then is, why do you not want me to? Why do you want to see your Kai Cenats, your Speeds, your Drewskis, your Brethrens, if you do care about your black community, why do y'all want to see them commit the crimes that the people from the Caucasus them mountains do too? The reason why is because they don't really care about the crimes. They don't really care about the state or the health of the black community. They just care to be able to do the same things the white men do and get away with it too. They don't care about Epstein and all the rest of them and the delinquency of minors or taking advantage of minors or essay against their sisters and this and that. They don't actually care about that. They care to do the same thing. Do you want to be free, or do you just want to be the ones that are holding the key? Do you care about being oppressed, or do you more so care about the fact that you're not able to oppress? That you don't have the funds or the social capital or the historical status in order to exact the harm that our oppressors do. So when I see a Kai Cenat and I see him in proximity to Mariah Carey and celebrities using his stage as a big billboard to essentially air out their newest project coming out, he's become this gateway between old black traditional media and new black traditional media. Kai Cenat as a mechanism is very important. And that's the reason why I want to see Kai grow. I want to see him alleviate himself of the things that we already find to be an issue in the black community itself. If you're going to be the troll that is the gatekeeper between these two factions, then we have an opportunity to then make sure that particular things don't get on that bridge. When Kevin Hart comes on live, and God forbid when Tyler Perry come on this nigga live, those are people that are from old media that probably just need to stay there. If your shtick was putting on a wig and imitating AAVE and imitating black women and making a parody out of that, maybe we could leave you in old media. Maybe new media could forge a different ground. But unfortunately, Kai Cenat has resolved, and his entire content strategy has just been throw money at it, evoke nostalgia whenever you see fit, hoping that people will click.
on TikTok?
Yep.
People keep asking me to do it.
Every time I watch a Foreign Fridays video, my eyes, my ears, I'm always paying attention to what he's saying. Most commentary channels cannot do that for me. But here's the thing. Every time he speaks, he always speaks in facts. And especially a very logical perspective. Now, let's talk about the relevance at hand about Kai Cenat. Now, Kai is someone who I'm going to just straight up summarize as a person who is not in control of their entire career. I believe he has to be loud in order to entertain his very young audience. And he also has to be kind of a Uncle Ruckus to some extent. Not because he hates being black, but because his audience doesn't want him to be black. They want him to be Kai Cenat. They want him to be the guy that just, you know, is loud, obnoxious, and screaming and shit so people can disrespect him. They want that. That's the Kai Cenat that they love. Now, I understand that many of you probably believe that this man is going to change, but personally, I don't believe it. I don't believe I can probably change because one thing that Foreign Fridays just said, what did he just say? It's the will to change. One thing's for sure. I hate talking about this for all you people who like to talk about change. I don't like people talking about change. I want to know if you have the will to change more than the talkative energy to change. A lot of people do that and they'll start trying to talk about this and that, and I just don't want to hear it. Personally, you're talking to the wrong person about it because I don't personally want to hear it at all. So why are you telling me? Just do it. So, Kai Cenat is someone who really cannot control his life because it's not his fault. This is what he got himself into. When you decide to be a part of the little group that kind of confines you in a space, but you can't speak for yourself type of group. Say, for example, you're a black guy and you got a lot of friends of different races. So every single time when you're with them, they start making anti-black jokes or insults, more likely to be precise. You're in that little group, sitting around, just, you know, you're trying to be like cool about it and just be like, fuck it, I can ignore these guys. They're not worth my time. They're just joking around. But you know, as time goes on, the anti-blackness gets to a certain degree of just damn near disrespect. But the more you ignore it, the more it makes the individual more obligated to keep saying anti-blackness type of fucking jokes and insults, whatever they call it in their head. Being black is very difficult. I would tell you guys this straight up. You have the most hardest difficulty mode on planet Earth because someone else in your race decides to do other fuck shit and then it destroys a whole group, which it shouldn't, because we can all play that game, but we didn't though. We don't ever do that. And even if we are angry, right? We don't ever do that. I feel like people forget that black people really need to start realizing that all this unnecessary loudness, all this unnecessary shit is making people feel obligated to treat us less than human. And I feel like Kai forgets a lot of that. He kind of just believes he remembers, but he doesn't remember. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you were to speak to Kai, remind him, hey bro, this ain't a good idea, this isn't a good look, maybe you might want to stop, but Kai's not going to stop. Kai's going to do his own little thing because he doesn't care. The money's involved. He's got a community of people, community of, well, teenagers to be precise, and people way younger than him will ever get that misconstrued. But then on top of that, there's always something going on. The same way how it is with IShowSpeed. Yeah, I was gonna mention that. I don't think you should even think for a second I wasn't gonna mention it. The same thing going on with IShowSpeed. He cannot control his audience. They're just instinctively racist. I mean, every single time when he goes to an event, they're always being disrespectful to him because of his race. It's never been about IShowSpeed. It's been about calling him the hard R. Being black takes thick skin. You will be always placed in a very caged spot, socially and economically. You have no way out of it. Every time you go to a social gathering, always assume the worst. It's not your fault for doing it. Don't let no man, no woman, no other race outside your people tell you something different. Always accept and assume the worst, because no one else is going to help you but you. It is a frightening thing to say, and I understand where you guys are probably coming from. But to not acknowledge that is not the brightest thing to do. When I say that, it's not just because I'm saying it for fuckery. I'm saying it because you have to understand, everyone wants you to do some stereotypical shit. They want a reason to fuck with you and, you know, call the police, do anything possible. So since that's as much as black people are perceived on the internet, because everyone allows their perception to be easily warped. It's very easy to allow yourself to believe in dumb shit. Very. But you know, we never have these conversations because it's never been really talked about, if that makes sense. It's just like, think about it this way. Every time you try to be the better person, you just allow shit to keep going on and on and on. You know, because like I said about the cage spot situation or cage black person situation, where you're the only black person that has such and such event and there's other races and you're just uncomfortable as shit. You will be in those situations every time. Right. What's the point of what I'm about to say here? What I'm about to say is that every single time that a black person feels the need to speak up against it, it's always an insult. But then again, then there'll be the animosity and the assumption of you acting like a stereotype. And people will start to call you things to get you really riled up. Now, say if they had a Mexican person there, they know they're going to be able to hide behind him because Mexicans are very equal fighters. Regardless of you being a hood nigga or not, they are very equal fighters to blacks. And that's just their base Street Fighter style alone. So now they get to hide behind someone else who's also in on the racism and the anti-blackness. And you can't do a fucking thing. It just be you against 3 other races. The other 2 are weak and 1 stronger. And you're like the only one strong enough to like try to attempt to fight them off. But you're going to lose. You're not going to win a 3v1s. It's not how it works. Right. So I just feel like the only way how Kai can get out of these situations is stop associating himself with people, just as Forum Friday said, in particularly the problems of the stream. But you know, I don't believe Kai can do it because once he kills off the loud part of the stream, why bother? Now all those teenagers, those really I can't sit down teenagers, are gonna start going batshit crazy and get annoyed at the fact that, you know, their favorite streamer isn't being loud, he isn't being obnoxious, he isn't giving me the attention I wanted. He's not giving me the entertainment. What the fuck just happened? This is not Kai Cenat. What happened? So then they start saying things. They start questioning like what to do with their lives, because you know they're that type of chatter. Like they'll sit in there for hours watching a Kai Cenat stream, posting W's in the chat and emojis like for hours. You'd think one would get off eventually and play some sort of game or probably lurk, and that's better than anything. Lurking is better because it means you're doing something else. But because of this, a lot of these people will look themselves in the eye and say that they did nothing wrong. Absolutely. Wholeheartedly say to themselves they did nothing wrong. That is the problem with his fan base. Calling their favorite streamer the hard R. For someone that is liked by his community, he sure as hell has no control over their actions. This is where it gets problematic. See, Kai has to set some boundaries between him and his community, reminding them who's boss. Once you do that, you win. But Kai can't do that. He'll get tons of complaints, tons of threats. He'll get the same, you know, anti-blackness, repeat on a repeat. And yeah. But, you know, the only way how he'll ever be happy, like truly happy, is he's no longer in this situation. Get rid of the problems, simple as that. And try to really aim your content towards actual adults, please. Your current content is aimed at people 20 times younger than you. Okay? Seriously. Aim your content at adults. It would make more sense than aiming it at fucking teenagers. Like, you should know better. Like, teenagers are meant to be destructive and foolish. They're gonna make a lot of mistakes. So why would you do this? I just never understood it. But anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Kai can survive. Problem is with Kai, gotta cut off a lot of leashes. Once you get rid of all those leashes, excuse me. Once you get rid of all those leeches, bada bing, bada boom. You're done. Okay? That's all you need to do. Not that fucking hard. Anyways. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.
Hi, I'm Lucy Christian. I am the voice of Ochako Uraraka, and you should subscribe to Neusxanity's channel. Peace out!